This is Simon's Whispers. I haven't been around to make a video of it's got to be more than 3 weeks now, so I'm really sorry about that. I go through stages where I make several in one day, and then I don't make any for like 3 weeks. So I'm guessing today I'll probably make 3 or something like that. But yeah, I've had a few busy weeks at work. So I was at a sort of placement at somewhere else for 6 weeks, and working extremely hard there. And that was really good though, really refreshing being somewhere else just for 6 weeks. And met some really great people as well. It was really wonderful. But all back to normal now. So I'm back to work on Monday. It's Saturday right now. So I'm back in on Monday. I've got lots to do in the meantime really. So I'm sitting here at the moment with my laptop. And a few bits and bobs in front of me that I need to get done. But hey, I'd rather sit and talk to you guys instead for a bit. Just for a little while. So I had a week off this week. It was really nice. And so that was my sort of half-term break. That was really lovely. So not back to work until Monday. And I went for a nice long drive to see my folks, because I've moved away down to the seaside. And so I drove down to the coast to see them, and that was really nice. And it's a long, long way. I've not done that much sort of in the way of mileage in my new car yet, so that was really nice. And gave me a chance to sort of get out of town for a little while as well, get out of the city, which is always nice. So I went down to the seaside and the harbour, but it was so cold, absolutely freezing. And it doesn't really ruin the experience, but it'll be much nicer to go during Easter or the summer and get back there and enjoy the nice weather and have a swim and things like that in the sea, whereas of course I couldn't do that. I suppose I could have. That would have been interesting if I'd have had a bit of a swim in the sea, but yeah, that would have been really cold. But a nice wake up in the morning, because they live so close to the sea that you could walk there in about 5 minutes. But it's really, really picturesque there. I'm quite jealous, but maybe one day I'll think about moving somewhere nice like that. So I drove there on Thursday morning, and I took my brother down with me as well, my older brother, and so we enjoyed that drive down. So I hope I didn't get a speeding ticket on the way down, because on my sat-nav it beeps when you're going past a speed camera, when it gives you plenty of sort of prior warning. But I had the music up louder than the beep, so I missed so many of the beeps, and I'm hoping that I haven't been caught out and gone too quickly. I hope not. But the thing is, this car, being a new car, compared to my old one that was 18 years old, this new car is just so comfortable and easy to drive, and sometimes you don't realise how quickly you're going, and you have to keep looking over 70. But I'm really not sure. So at one point I'd got considerably faster than that, and I didn't realise, because it's just absolutely effortless to drive. So I think it'd be better if on my next car that I get in, I'll probably get it in January next year, I think. So I'll keep this car for a year, and then in January or February next year, or maybe it's a Christmas present for myself, I'll buy a car that's got cruise control, so I can set it to 70 miles an hour and just leave it, and that'll be much better, I think. Even more effortless as well. I sound so lazy, don't I, actually? Yeah, I guess you wouldn't be right if you thought that, actually. Yeah, I think you'd probably be right thinking that I'm a bit lazy at times. I suppose we all are, but some people have actually said to me before, if I was any more laid back, I'd be horizontal. But yeah, it was a really nice drive. It's a good 3 hours in the car, so it really is a long drive down, but I don't mind. Yeah, it's lovely. And having the company as well, having my brother with me was nice too. So it meant that we could just have a nice chat on the way down, because we don't really see each other very often. And when we do, it tends to just be, either a family get-together or something like that. So that's really nice. And yeah, it was good. So, although I don't like to stop on the motorway, I don't like to go into services, because I think it just wastes time. So it was, he wanted to smoke. See, I don't smoke at all. I very rarely drink now as well. And that's not really me being boring, it's just from a health point of view. I don't smoke at all, and because I drive so much, I don't drink. And I mean, driving's nothing to do with my job or anything, but I just enjoy being able to drive, and I simply won't drink and drive. If I ever had an accident, I'd always, and if I really hurt somebody through drinking, I'd always wonder, what if I didn't drink that day? Would that person still be okay? Would they be alive or whatever? So, I'd never want to put myself in that sort of position of guilt, really. Because you do feel a lot safer when you've been drinking. You feel like you could just do whatever and it'd be fine. So I don't want to put myself in that position, so I'll stick to the soft drinks. But with my brother, he wanted to stop for a cigarette and go to the toilet. And I mean, the journey's 3 hours, and he was talking about stopping less than an hour into the journey. And I was thinking, no, I'm not going to do that. And luckily, every time the sign for the services said, say, 10 miles, we went onto the next motorway in, say, 5. So we kept missing every single major service station that he kept mentioning. So it was really good. So we didn't stop all the way there. I think he was really gagging for a cigarette when we got to the other end, but I just thought, you're just going to have to cope without it. But he'd bought one of the ones that's like a steam pen to use in the car. And I was a bit mean, and I said that he couldn't use it. I don't want it in the car at all, really. Because I gave up smoking more than 2 years ago, I think it was now. And I was never really a serious smoker. But even so, I don't want that really, in my car if he's smoking some sort of, like the electric steam cigarettes. I don't want him doing that in the car. I've given up smoking, I don't want him to do that around me at all. So, I don't really know if that's just a bit sad on my part, or mean, or whatever, a bit silly, but, But yeah, so that was a nice drive. I came back yesterday, so I just stayed the one night and came back yesterday. And I bought a big box of Krispy Kreme donuts home with me as well. Beautiful. Got the assorted dozen, so you get all the different ones. Well, not all of them, but you get a good selection of all the different ones that they do. So 12 of those are beautiful. So I've eaten half of those. So I might have some more later. So I might make a video a bit later on today. Eating a couple more donuts perhaps. It'll be nice. I don't know what ASMR you'll get out of that. If I'm eating donuts and they'll be that good, I'll be groaning. Yeah, no, I'm joking. So yeah, it was really good being able to drive the car that distance. Because it's the first time I've given it a really good run. As I've been on a few A roads and things just for, say, half an hour or whatever each way, but this was really good. I think I need to get my tracking done. As I've noticed a slight vibration on the steering wheel on the motorway at times, but I think when I was on my way home from work a few weeks ago, there was a big pothole in the road, and one of my wheels went down it. I was doing about 30 miles an hour, and all around that, and it jarred the car so much that I had a headache afterwards. It was a massive pothole, and yeah, I actually had a headache afterwards. It was that bad. So I think it might have just misaligned one of the wheels slightly, so I need to get the tracking done. I'll do that when I get paid. Go to the garage and get that done. Because of course if you don't get your tracking sorted out, if it is slightly out, you'll wear one of the corners of your tyres. And you definitely don't want to do that. End up shelling out for new tyres because you couldn't be bothered to go to the garage. That'd be silly. So I've got nice tyres as well, so I don't want to ruin them. So yeah, I don't know if I told you about the problems that I had with Ford, and this was quite bad really. I thought I'd bought the car, and you'd seen the picture of the car on a previous video, and when I picked it up, I noticed that there was a big scratch on the back left, by the back left wheel, and it was quite a long, deep scratch, and I wondered why they hadn't sorted that out yet, because I hadn't seen it before. But when I looked back at the pictures, and the picture actually that I've put on the video, you can see it. You can see that scratch. So it was definitely on there before I bought it. Which is disappointing really, that they do. Apparently they do all these checks. Yeah, right. So I found a little bit of mould on the mat in the boot, so I've got them to change that. On the door, the driver's side door, where the previous owner had obviously opened the door into a wall about 50 million times, wherever they'd parked it. That needed doing, so I gave the car back to them to get that done, and they gave me a courtesy car. So they got the big scratch done and the mould in the boot, but they didn't do the one on the door. So I was really angry about that. But I refused to have a courtesy car off them again. I had to ring my insurance company and extend that cover on the courtesy car. In the end, they reached a point where they said, after I think it was 5 or 4 different times that I'd done that over 5 days, they said they couldn't do it again because the system had locked at that point, because it looked like I was just taking the mick, and the system automatically stops it happening again. So that caused me a lot of problems, really. And so in the end, they've given me a touch-up stick to do that door myself, and some gloss to go over the top, so I can clear all that up myself. And at least, if there are any other scratches, I can fix those too with the touch-up stick and the gloss myself, instead of just tea-cutting it, which would be good. So, yeah, there was that. I did notice I've got like a hidey hole under the passenger seat that opens out, and I opened that, and there was mould on the back part of that seat there. So at some point the car has obviously got wet, and the previous owner hasn't dried it out properly. That's all that's happened. And of course, Ford hadn't found that either. So, but again, I'm not going to go back to Ford at all if I can help it, unless it's something really serious, to do with my warranty or something like that, if I need any parts. So I've cleaned that, and I've vacuumed it as well to try and make sure there's no spores or anything, so I've disinfected it. So I'm hoping that that's okay now. And I've really tried to get the car totally dry as well. So I don't know whether there's perhaps a leaky seal or something in the car, but in the summer I'm sure it'll be fine. Make sure it's dried out perfectly. I'm not going to mess with it at all, mess with the seals. It's pointless, really. So, yeah, so I was really angry with Ford. The sort of checks that they do on the car, it just seems like, what do they do really? Do they check the oil level and that's it? Even the tyres are all at different pressures. And I mean, in my eyes, if you're looking at safety on a car, the first thing you would do would be to check all the tyre pressures. I mean, maybe that's just me being a bit mad, but they haven't even done the most basic things. So, but this is by no means normal from what I've heard about Ford, because there's a Ford down the road from me, which I probably should have just gone to anyway, which are really good. And my dad had bought a car there. Well, he's bought 3 cars from there, or 4 cars from there, I think 3. And they've always been brilliant. The service has always been brilliant. Everything they've done was perfect. And they've had no problems with any of his cars. A friend of mine got 2 cars there, and that was fine. I went to the one slightly further away, and just because I saw a car on their website, and that's where I'd gone and ended up buying this one, and the service has been abysmal. So, it's by no means normal, I don't think, to have that sort of poor service. It's just that particular garage, which of course I won't name, for obvious reasons, but yeah, pretty poor. So anyway, I hope you're all cuddled up warm somewhere by a fire or on the sofa with a nice blanket on you or something like that. That sounds ever so cosy. So that's exactly what I was doing earlier. I had both of my dogs sitting on the sofa. I was in the middle of the sofa and I had one on each side cuddled up to me, keeping me warm this morning. Have a nice cup of coffee when I woke up. And so I've put the heating on there just to warm the house a bit, because it's so cold out. Because it got nice again and then suddenly the temperature's dropped. So ASMR video later with my Krispy Kreme donuts. So watch this space for that. So look after yourselves and I'll speak to you soon.